Hello guys and dolls, today I'm here to review the Urban Decay Vice 2 palette, and I'm very excited about this review and I'm excited about this product and I'm just a happy kid in general because this is a really good palette. It's so good, it's so good. Did not purchase the Vice palette last year and I have been kicking myself all year for not getting it because it was so good, and I actually had it in my hand at Sephora and last minute I was like, no, I think I'm gonna buy these Estee Lauder nail polishes instead. P.S. Didn't end up liking the Estee Lauder nail polishes at all, ended up giving them away to people. Bad decision on my part, but what are you gonna do? So let's first talk about the packaging of this palette. They have sort of like a abstract orchid design here. I guess no two palettes are alike, so that's kind of interesting that they're all unique. They have the jeweled UD logo thingamajig here, and this is my favorite thing about the palette. It opens itself. I know that's so geeky, but every time I do it, I'm like, isn't that cute? So within this palette, you get a total of 20 eyeshadows, plus you get a little dual-ended eyeshadow brush. If I'm being completely honest, I'm not a big fan of these just because you can't really set them in a cup with other brushes properly. However, this one's shorter, so at least it's nice and travel-friendly. It's still not my favorite. I feel like if you're going to do a double-ended brush, it's best to do it with like a cover on one side so it can be placed into a cup, because most people store their brushes in something like this. So that's just kind of how I feel about it. Honestly, I'm just not using it and I'm just keeping it in there and keeping it nice and safe in the little palette. One thing that's kind of cute is that on the brush it actually says Vice 2. I just noticed that. So within this massive palette there are so many different colors, and yet there's also kind of some repeats. I kind of feel like Lovesick and Poison are kind of similar. Lovesick is a matte black with like multicolored shimmer. Poison is not quite a matte black, it's more green tone, but they're so similar that I don't feel like the palette needed them both, and you guys can totally see my desk in the mirror here. So within this palette, the colors are so good. They're so good. So just some standout shades are Smoke Out, which is this one right here. It's sort of like a smoky taupe black. Yeah, how about we do? The Shell Shock is the most intense silver. It is, so good. Now this first row has like a lot of good ones. I really am liking these pink eyeshadows. I don't tend to buy pink eyeshadow just because it's one of those things that I'm like, I don't really need pink eyeshadows. So I'm always appreciative when it comes in a palette that I'm gonna buy anyway. Prank eyeshadow I am obsessed with and I'm wearing right now, as well as Madness. I'm wearing Shell Shock, I'm wearing X-Rated, I'm wearing Betrayal, and I'm wearing Habit today. That's what all of these things are. Some of the other standout shades would be Madness. I love, love, love. Plus it reminds me of the Muse song, which I just, that's one of my favorite love songs. It's so cute. Let's see, Damage, or Damaged, past tense, is previously damaged. Gorgeous emerald green. I mean, really fantastic. This one here, Radar, I really thought, because it looks sort of chunky in the pan, I was like, oh, Turns out it's totally awesome and super pigmented. Voodoo. Who loves the voodoo that you do that make me well, I don't know the lyrics at all. Kind of a sheerer color. To me it's like a topping, like you would put it on top of something else. Betrayal is awesome. Love, love, love. And I'm wearing that on my lid as well. Derail, gorgeous smoky gray taupe. Yummy, yummy. Some of my other favorites in here are Toxic, which is also kind of dry, but if you use a sticky base with it, oh my gosh, does that ever come to life. Habit is a super smooth color. I basically have described almost all the colors in this palette now. You're kind of getting where I'm going here. There is not one dud in this bunch. There are some that excite me a little bit less, but they're all super fantastic. The only maybe bummer is that there's only two real mattes. It's Habit and Rewind, which are two very neutral colors. X-Rated is almost matte. It's more of like a satin kind of color. If there's two that maybe like don't really tickle my pickle, it's Strike and Stash, but they're still beautiful colors, but they're just more of like your kind of everyday kind of gold and olive green, and I have tons of those in my collection already, but they're not bad. There is not one eyeshadow in here where I'm like, oh, why did they include that? That's awful. You know, every single one of these is a winner. There's really no downsides to this palette. I know some people maybe think that the packaging is kind of bulky. I think it's actually quite compact and lovely for, you know, what you're getting. You're getting 20 eyeshadows. I feel like I sound like a freaking QVC broken record. This is my favorite palette for the holiday, for fall. It might be my favorite palette of the whole year. I don't know, it's kind of competing with the Oz palettes, which is also from Urban Decay. The cost for the value of this palette is really good. It's $59, but you get like $230 something worth of product. This is ridiculous. It isn't the world's most complete palette because it is lacking, you know, more mattes. I would like just maybe a little bit more mattes. Like maybe if they had like switched these out with a couple of mattes, this would be like the perfect palette. I feel like one thing this palette has going for it is just the diversity of different looks. You know, you've got everything from like your standard silver and black smoky eye. You can do purple smoky eyes. You can do gray and teal smoky eyes. You can do green smoky eyes. You can do brown neutral looks. You can do some warm kind of, you know, there's lots of different ways in which you can go with this. This palette does have mostly shimmer eyeshadows. Only 2 of them are true mattes. One of them's a satin. Then you've got like some mattes with sparkles in them, which don't really count as mattes, I don't think. With that said, you know, if you have mattes in your collection already, or if you just love shimmery eyeshadows. So the question is, do I recommend this? And I think at this point we can all agree, hell yeah, I recommend this. This is awesome. It's $59. You get like a $230 value worth of product. The colors in this are very good. They're not, you know, just your boring, been there, done that colors. We might have seen versions of these colors out before, but these are not bad in any shape or case. They're not boring. I think that this is just a really good palette. So that is my review of the Urban Decay Vice 2 palette. Definitely don't be like me and don't regret not getting this like I did last year. I regretted the Vice 1. Whatever. You know what I'm saying. So anyway, I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. I have some videos coming up this week that I think will really excite you guys, and I'll see you guys in my next video. My next video. Remember to be vintage or tacky, just be yourself. I've been talking too much today.